Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer. Served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is time again as we broadcast live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Fifer. Charlie Usen producing Other Side of the Glass on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. Use that @ symbol, The Fan Milwaukee. Also, check us out streaming on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. If you miss anything, want to go back and listen to the podcast, they are everywhere you download your favorite podcast, right? Odyssey, iHeart, TuneIn, Apple, you pick it. We're there for you to find here at The Fan. Coming up here in about 15 minutes or so, Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports Brewers writer, as we go inside the clubhouse, brought to you by Focus Baseball. Their tryouts going on this month. Still time to get makeup dates in and so forth. Go to focusbaseball.com for that. So, in that last segment, we talked with Bill Shakin of the LA Times about his, could the Brewers be America's team piece that he wrote. And in that, I brought up a tweet from Andrew Filipponi that I thought was really good. And it was during the Brewers game last night. It was about the 8th inning last night of the Brewers game. And I saw it and I saved it right away. And I was like, oh, man, we can talk about this tomorrow for certain on Wisconsin Sports Daily. This is what Filipponi said. The Brewers are about to win their 11th game in a row. They're in first place. They've made the playoffs 6 of the last 8 years. They have a $112 million payroll. Why can't this be the Pirates? That's what Andrew Filipponi said. My question is this. Do you think the Brewers model will be one that can be duplicated by other small markets? Filipponi, by the way, works for the Fan in Pittsburgh, 93.7 The Fan. He's been a national sports talk show host as well. Very, very opinionated. He's the one that has been after and trying to get rid of the Steelers head coach, Mike Tomlin, for the last 5 to 10 years. He's been all over Mike Tomlin's overrated. He's going to get rid of Mike Tomlin. So it's that guy. I've mentioned him before on the show. I want to know what you all think. We live in this market, right? We live in Milwaukee. Some of us experienced 26 years of being a horribly ran organization. Experienced 11 straight years of never even getting to be 500 or having a better than 500 record. Meaning having more wins than losses, was what that means. Went through all of that. And then that class that came through with Braun and Fielder and Hardy and Hart and Weeks, all these cats, you'll see them out there at the Home Run Derby on Friday after the Brewers-Marlins game. All these cats come rolling up through the farm system, and they're winning championships at every league, every step of the minor leagues. They just continue to win championships. And you're thinking to yourself, damn. I mean, they're clearly the best group of prospects baseball has right now. They're just winning every league title as they're coming through. Like, we're going to win a World Series with these cats. There's no question. We're going to win a World Series. Now, there was no pitching attached to those guys. They were all hitters. But still, didn't happen, right? Been in the NLCS and so forth. And we've been very consistent at being competitive every year. Been consistent at getting to the postseason most years as well. But like the Green Bay Packers and like the Milwaukee Bucks, I feel like the fans here, where I've grown up and lived my whole life, once you get some success over the course of a certain amount of time, you expect more. Yeah, that's great. We're going to the playoffs for however many years in a row. Whoopee! How many times have we been in the World Series? None. So what does it matter, right? There's a lot of that. Oh, good, the Brewers are going to go to the playoffs and get beat in the first round again. I can't wait to watch that happen. And some people, not all people, some people struggle to enjoy the ride, as people like to say, throughout the course of the year because they're just waiting for the other shoe to drop and have their hearts broken come playoff time when they get beat in the first round again. which essentially is what we've been doing with the Bucks since they've won the championship. And the Packers, it's 2 Super Bowls in 30 years with Hall of Fame quarterbacks. We just talked about that the other day, right? All these playoff appearances, division titles, all that stuff is wonderful. But what does it come down to at the end of the day? We talk about all the heartbreak and misery of all the different playoff losses. I just say Seattle, and people start crying. I don't even have to say the year. I just say Seattle in playoffs. Weeping is happening. Cars are crashing. I'm sorry. I did that. That's how it is. So for this Pirates announcer, talk show host, Filipponi, to say, hey, man, why can't we be the Brewers? It gives you an idea of, hey, man, this ain't half bad. Hey, man, this is pretty damn cool that we're winning at this level, being in this small market. Like Bill Jenkins said, you're the smallest market in the league, and you're killing it and going to the playoffs. Maybe you haven't got to the World Series, but you're doing your thing. And these other small markets are crying poor, and we can't afford it. We can't compete. What do you want us to do? But the Brewers seemingly have figured it out. Now, they haven't figured out enough to win a title, and maybe they never will, but they figured out enough to be competitive and get to the playoffs every year. And that's maybe where that extra money comes in, where that 1 or 2 players extra might get them a World Series title that they don't want to spend or they don't have the money to spend at the end of the day. Do you think the Brewers model will be one that can be duplicated by other smaller markets? Nicolay Law, Fan Talk, text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Sound off with a recorded voice message on the Odyssey app as well. All right, so let's go to, where are we going? KJ in West Allis. You're up next here on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk text line on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. What's going on?
Good afternoon, Sparky. Thanks for taking my call. I think it already has been replicated, right? I mean, you look at the Kansas City Royals. Aren't they a small market? Didn't they win a world championship?
They got to 2 World Series and won 1, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much the same type of model as the Brewers, right? I mean, they're from a small market. They play pretty much. They don't have a lot of, big name players like the Brewers. They got a Hall of Famer in, their catcher.
And Witt at shortstop is going to be a Hall of Famer, too. So you got Witt and you got Salvador Perez, right?
Right. And you don't know if Witt's going to be there until he, throughout his career. He'll probably be picked up by the Dodgers or, the Red Sox or the Yankees or somebody down the road. But right now, that's basically the model I think the Brewers are have used.
So right now, if you look at TV market sizes, last year into this year, the Brewers are 38th with 944,900 people. The Kansas City market is 1,033,680. So very close together. Kansas City's 33, Milwaukee 38.
Yeah.
So very close, very similar as far as what that is. I think that is something that you could definitely use as a comparison. And if you look at, how they did theirs, the thing that got them going was the Zach Greinke trade, right? And then what did they do? Big game James Shields. They made that move and got James Shields to try and put him over the top later. And then they had flamethrowers in the back end of their bullpen to close games. And, it was Hosmer, Moustakas, Perez, and those guys that they kind of built around to go to back-to-back World Series. Thanks for the call. Lorenzo Cain, I said, right? Lorenzo Cain, Moustakas, Hosmer. Those were kind of like their big 3 back in the day that they used to get their to win the World Series and to get to back-to-back World Series. The Royals' estimated payroll this year, according to Fangraphs, is $135 million this year. Now, if we say this same thing for the Milwaukee Brewers, as far as what their payroll is right now, again, going right back to it, $108.3 million, which is 24th in the league in terms of how much they're paying. So, another 20 million or somewhere in that area. Does that matter? That would be up for debate amongst yourselves. John in Franklin, you're next. Do you think the Brewers model will be one that can be duplicated by other small markets? What say you, John?
I think it's a great model if you got the right people that can pull it off. And hats off to the front office personnel that have done the job, the scouting, the overseas scouting that they got out in front of.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be not very easy to duplicate what the Brewers have done. And I'll tell you, Spark, we're of similar age, and I remember the 80s run with the Brewers. I think I was 14-ish, somewhere in there. And then it was a long time before they were good again. And we are in a golden age in Wisconsin where we just have I don't know what's going to happen with the Packers. I mean, we all think they're going to do great. But we've had a hell of a run here with our sports teams for being a small market. We have beyond held our own. And it's, as much as it's been frustrating with the first round exits in the playoffs some of these times, better to have loved and lost than to have never loved, my friend.
That is true. That's what they say. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. So I agree with John and Franklin that really at the end of the day, it comes down to the people and the philosophy in which you're going to do, right? So you make the decision. Doug Melvin was not a hire of Mark. Doug Melvin was a hire of Wendy Seelig-Prieb. She was the one that made that hire, right? So in comes Mark. Mark goes, hey, man, I don't know the first thing. I'm a fan, but I don't know. Go ahead. Just do what you're doing and we'll figure it out, and you can teach me and we'll learn, and you can teach me. Not that we're going to learn together. Doug taught him. Okay, fine. Rick Schlesinger, president of business operations now for the Brewers, he was brought in by Wendy Seelig-Prieb. Mark didn't touch him either. Hey, man, do what you do. And let's just see how this whole thing works. Mark could have came in and said, nope, I'm bringing all my old people in. Obviously, this hasn't worked. We're going to change gears. But that's not what happened. He kept everybody in place. And he was smart because you had Jackson Rensick running the farm system. You had Doug Melvin as general manager, and he let them do their job. Then, when it was coming to the end and they decided that they were going to make a move with Doug and figure out what they wanted to do next, or if Doug decided, he was going to walk away, or however that whole thing played out, to go in the direction of David Stearns, who was coming from a highly advanced analytical situation with the Houston Astros, that was a big-time gutsy hire because Stearns was a younger dude, had never run his own show, and here you go, keys to the kingdom, go do your thing. Oh, by the way, you have to keep our guy Craig Counsell here to be your manager for a year or whatever else, and then you can do what you want if you all can't get along. But Doug seems to think Craig is going to be really good at this, so I want to leave him in that position to be the manager after they got rid of Renicky. And again, David Stearns, okay, you say so. That's what you want to do? Wow, we'll figure it out. David Stearns turns and says, I want my right-hand guy to be Matt Arnold. Where did Matt Arnold come from? The Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays, small market, analytics, figuring out how to win and be competitive at a high level. So he brought in two analytics guys, one from a small market in Arnold, the other from a larger market with more payroll, obviously in Houston, to come in and run this thing. Those were the hires. Because Doug Melvin, yes, they had analytics, but not to the level that we have now with these two guys that have been here since, right? They took it to the more modern era GM and went at it from that perspective. And then what? They invested all this international money into the international academies. To me, that is a huge key in how this all works. You can look at their drafts and go, oh boy, their drafts have been pretty okay. But the international signings, the Churios, the Mades, the Peñas now coming, and the time and the money spent there. And if Made and Peña, if one or both of those guys work out that are at Class A, Carolina, if they both get here and work out, and they're both shortstop, third base, second short, third base, however position they play on the infield, to go with Churio for the next several years after that, now you got some thump, you got some young guys that can all get out and run and be at a high level, potentially all be star players, all on one roster that you signed. You didn't draft any of those cats. You signed them all internationally. That's the crazy part about this whole thing. Doug wasn't having that type of success in the international market. Doug's minor league system couldn't develop pitching the way this front office has done with Stearns and Matt Arnold. They couldn't figure that out. The pitching lab, that's a Stearns baby, right? He did that, and that has been unmatched around Major League Baseball. People are still trying to figure out what's going on. And then you let DJ go be the pitching coach for Derek Johnson, go be the pitching coach for the Reds. I lose my mind. I'm like, dude, seriously, just back up the Brinks truck. Let him have whatever he wants. He's awesome. Let him go. Some guy internally, Chris Hook. Okay, sure, fine, whatever. This dude's a rock star. He's done as well, probably better than what DJ did when he was here as pitching coach. Then you extend him. God knows how much they paid him, but it's worth it so he doesn't go join the trader in Chicago. And now you keep him under control going forward. And my buddy always says they take pitchers, they turn from water into wine. And it happens over and over and over and over again. Can any franchise duplicate everything that I just said? Doubt it. That is a lot of pieces to get right with the correct personnel selections in each position and have them all work. That's a lot to have to go right. The odds are against you that one of those hires isn't going to be a good hire. That could lead to another bad hire. That could lead to another bad hire. And then it goes sideways. To have all of that go right, I don't think it's something that can be duplicated that easily. It's going to take time.
And what makes it even harder is that this Milwaukee Brewers team still also hasn't won a World Series with this system yet. So you don't even know if this is still a system that can even win you a World Series up to this point. It can make you competitive for an extended period of time.
There's no reason to ever change it.
But they're not yet. It's working right now. It's working better than it ever has until it starts going downhill, until you keep making changes like you're talking about where it starts digging you into a hole. Then you got to keep going with what you're doing until it does win.
As long as you're competing for division titles and you're in the playoffs every year, you keep going with what you have. Maybe you make a small adjustment here or there as far as where you want to spend this amount of money or that amount of money or whatever. But yeah, and I don't think you can duplicate it. I don't. I mean, and if you do, it's going to take you some time. Time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Utke Heating and Cooling. 84 degrees right now. Fair skies outside. Feel like 87. Heat advisory tomorrow from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. tomorrow. So make sure to stay cool as best you can coming up tomorrow. Low of 70 degrees tonight. That's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Ozzy Osbourne passes away this morning at the age of 76. Playing some Ozzy Osbourne bumps for you for today. I can't tell you that I had like a lot of Ozzy Osbourne CDs or Black Sabbath or anything like that. But you knew his music, right? You might have it on your Spotify playlist if you're into like classic rock and stuff like that. And what was it? What was the name of that reality show? It's called The Osbournes. Was that the name of the reality show?
I have no idea. You're more into reality than I am.
The reality show was awesome. Like
If you say so.
him and his wife and his kids and all of that, and kind of see like what that dude is like away from the stage or whatever. Oh yeah, very good. I thought that was very funny. It was only on for a few years. I'm not even sure. Look it up. How long was that reality show on TV, The Osbournes, before it eventually went away? I want to say it was probably 3 years, 4 years,
4 seasons.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, the first couple of seasons were probably better than the last season, but yeah, I thought that was very entertaining. That's probably when I learned the most about Ozzy Osbourne was through that reality show. But yeah, good stuff. But still sad. 76 years old. The passing of Ozzy Osbourne today. Love Taki Fuego chips? Listen up because you've never had them like this. Wendy's new Taki Fuego meals are here. The Semi has the Taki Fuego chip intensity you love. Piled up on one of our fan favorite spicy chicken sandwiches with Taki Fuego chips, chili lime sauce, and creamy corn spread. The small Fuego fries get tossed in an intense chili lime seasoning. It's almost like this meal couldn't take any more Taki Fuego chip intensity. That's where the extra 1 ounce bag of Taki Fuego chips on the side comes in. Well, while supplies last, at least. You can grab this Taki Fuego meal at Wendy's, midnight or later. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
What's the latest on the crew? Let's go inside the clubhouse with Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 1057 FM The Fan. Inside the clubhouse is brought to you by Focus Baseball. Sign your kids up now for July open tryouts at focusbaseball.com. Ages 6 to 17.
All right, our guy Andrew Wagner joins us now on the Fan Guest Hotline powered by Gruber Law. Wags, does your phone not have a camera on it that you can't ever join us on video on YouTube for our live streaming at The Fan Milwaukee? I mean, we have women constantly messaging us wanting to see the likes of Andrew Wagner on our YouTube channel. You really would draw a huge female demo if we could just get your face in front of a video camera.
Maybe sometime when I'm not on a job site covered in sweat, filth, and sawdust. Sparky.
Some girls like that.
Women might like that more.
Some girls
I don't
like
know.
that, man. Some girls may dig it. Just saying. I'm just
No, they like guys that own a boat, and that ain't me, so.
I don't own a boat.
All right.
Charlie, you own a boat?
I do not own a boat. I
We
don't
both
think
got
it is.
girls. We don't own boats. That's not true. That's not true,
Can I-
man. They're all about personality and having a good laugh and people that are funny. You're all of that. You're funny.
I
Charlie
have
laughs
none
at
of those things.
Charlie laughs at you every time you're on the show. He thinks you're hilarious.
Charlie drinks a lot.
Stop. Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports first writer, joining us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. I mean, I'll ask you, because we brought this up yesterday before they won their 11th straight last night. Like, what do you think either a group of players or a player or two has been the biggest key to this 10-game, now 11-game winning streak for the Brewers?
Yeah, I don't think it's that simple. I think the answer is simply 1 through 26, because it's not one guy that's carrying. Go back to 2018. Christian Yelich was just out of this world down the stretch and basically carried that team offensively on his back, right? You look at some of the other hot stretches. It coincided with someone getting really hot. This team, there isn't one individual guy. It's the starters going out there every day. It's the cavalcade of relievers. It's primarily your bottom of the order guys. It's everything working in sync. It's every little piece doing its little job, and the results speak for themselves. It's easy to sit there and try and pinpoint things like this on one guy getting hot, but nobody has really been that stand out above the rest. It's a different guy every night.
Brandon Woodruff does his thing again last night. Your guy, as you call him, Stupid Kurt Hogue of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, says Brandon Woodruff is one of only 8 pitchers since 1901 to begin his season with at least 3 straight games of 5 strikeouts and no walks, and he's done it in his first 3 games back from major shoulder surgery. I think if you would have asked members of the Brewers organization while he was doing his rehab assignments, if they thought this was going to happen, I would imagine every one of them would have said absolutely not, because I'm not quite sure you saw what you're seeing now during his rehab outings. I mean, the control is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He is out of this world. He is a cheat code right now. No, I don't think anybody saw this coming. And the thing is, I don't think he's really completely unlocked or unleashed it yet. You know, he's still kind of building into it. Yeah, he had 10 starts in minor leagues. He's got 3 now at the big league level. But we haven't seen him go full out yet. And it's coming. It's coming soon. Getting this guy back, I know people roll their eyes at it, whatever. This truly is like a trade deadline acquisition, because how many teams in baseball?
No, you're not.
How many teams in baseball would kill to get a guy like that? And what would you have to give up to get a pitcher like that?
Why is this a Wisconsin thing? Like, do we just do this in Wisconsin? I mean, this is like when the Packers signed nobody in free agency for all those years with Ted Thompson. But they would sign their own guy and be like, this is like our free agency. Yeah, we signed our own guys.
Wisconsin is what the idiots at a radio station in Madison suggested today. And yes, I'm dumping on our competition. You know who you are. Trading Peralta for your boy Suarez straight up, which might be the dumbest thing that I've heard in this state. And I've heard a lot of dumb things in this state.
No, I wouldn't do that. But either here nor there. My point is, you saying, wow, this is like a trade deadline acquisition. It's just
like... Is it not?
What?
Is it not?
It's not. No, he's your guy.
Because you didn't have him all year. You gave up nothing to get him. Adding a new player, regardless if he's in your organization or not, at this time of year, that is the kind of move teams fall over themselves to make. And the Brewers got that guy. They got that stud pitcher without having to give anything up for it. They got this guy for the stretch run. How is that not the same premise as going out and trading for an ace?
I don't need an ace. I need a power bat. I've needed a power bat since spring training. I needed a power bat in April. I needed a power bat in May, needed a power bat in June. And now here we are in July, and I still need a power bat. And if this trade deadline comes and goes, and I hear somebody in that organization tell me what you just told me, I'm going to lose my mind if that's what's told. Because I could hear somebody in that organization going, that smart, intelligent, good-looking guy, Andrew Wagner, said it on Sparky's show the other day. And that is, we really didn't feel like we needed to do anything. We added Brandon Woodruff. That's like getting a free agent acquisition or a trade acquisition deadline. We didn't have to give anything up. We feel like we're in a good situation. Team chemistry is great.
The problem with this is people are too stupid, flat out stupid, to accept the reality that you can have all the conversations in the world with a team and they decide to trade with someone else. So if the Brewers go through the deadline and don't get Suarez, everyone's going to sit there and go, oh, the Brewers didn't do anything. Oh, you don't know. They could have tried.
This is what I know.
The Diamondbacks are going to ask for the world.
Right, and this is what I know.
Don't go out and get Suarez. How do you know they didn't try?
This is the thing, though.
Trying to get a bat.
Wags, this is the thing, though. This is what you're missing. Sure, I can call up you, the Arizona Diamondbacks general manager, and be like, hey, Mr. Wagner, really interested in Eugenio Suarez, but what are you looking for? And you're like, we want 3 of your top pitching prospects and blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, I was thinking like giving you maybe 1. You think that'll work? No, that's not close. Have a good day. Click. And then you come on the radio and go, hey, man, I tried to get it. No, you didn't. You had no interest in giving them what they wanted. Meanwhile, the Dodgers had interest in giving them what they wanted, or the Yankees had interest in getting them what they wanted. They can get Suarez. They have one of the deepest farm systems in baseball. If they really want this dude, they can give up a bunch of guys to go get this dude if they really want him. So don't come at me with, well, the other team had a better offer. We tried. No, you can outbid any team that's in this thing, whether it's the Yankees, the Dodgers, whatever else. You have more pitching than anybody else near the major league level. You're dealing from what? Like 8 guys you can deal from that could go into the Diamondbacks rotation right now and start.
Well, a couple things that are wrong with your theory here. First of all, just because you can doesn't mean you should Secondly, the
Yes, it does.
Diamondbacks are still on the cusp of wild card contention. All they got to do is get some pitching, and they're back in it. So you're going to give up pitching that you know is really good to a team that could get red hot, get into the playoffs, and knock you off once before in a heater.
I'm taking 36 home runs away from that lineup. I feel okay about that. Yes.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
This is my thing. You aren't going to have an opportunity to put yourself in a position to go and try and win a World Series.
People in Wisconsin just want names. That's all it comes down to.
He's got 36 home runs. This isn't just a name. It's 36 home runs.
The same fan base that still bitches about Jeff Suppan 10 years
Horrible.
later just wants names.
Yes.
They just want names and spend money.
We did not want Jeff
Doesn't matter the
Suppan.
result.
Nobody wanted Jeff Suppan.
Right.
Nobody asked for Jeff Suppan. I was at this radio station. Nobody called in this radio station saying they must get Jeff Suppan this offseason. That never happened. Nobody ever called into any of our shows asking for Jeff Suppan, Wagner. Nobody.
I was there at the time.
Nobody.
You just want a name.
If
That's
we're
all it
talking
comes down to.
Suarez and 36 home runs versus Suppan and a nice NL
Here's the thing,
playoff
though.
run.
He already hit those home runs.
So what? He's
Those
been hitting home
don't
runs every
transfer.
day. Every day for like the last 3 days he's been hitting home runs.
How many home runs did Jonathan Scope have when he got traded to the
Oh,
Brewers?
my God. What is this? Why do you bring up crappy players for and want to compare this to
That's the
Suarez?
thing, because Jonathan Scope was torching for the Orioles before he got traded to the Brewers and
Torching.
stunk. Just because you get a name, 25 home runs?
Charlie's looking. Don't worry. Charlie's all over it. He's smiling and he's looking it up.
17 home runs.
17 is not
17 home runs.
36.
What was he flashing?
244, 273 on base, 447 slugging.
Awful,
What was his
and
OPS?
awful.
720.
Awful.
Pretty decent.
Not what Suarez is right now. It's not even remotely comparable at this
So
point.
Suarez automatically is going to put up the same exact numbers here.
No, I think he could put up better numbers in American Family Ballpark with it being warm outside and in that ballpark where the ball flies.
And you're willing to sacrifice the defense you're getting on the left side of the infield.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
in place of Durbin? Yes, for sure. And as a caller brought up earlier, you could play Yelich a couple days in the field and let Suarez be DH a couple days if you want to get Durbin at bat still and play him at third base. Fine, whatever. Rotate him through. But you are not going to get another bat to the likes of 35, 36 home runs. This would be the best bat acquisition they've probably made in the history of the Brewers organization in the last 25 years. At the deadline.
You're willing to give up a CC Sabathia type haul.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see that happening.
And the CC Sabathia type haul netted the Cleveland Indians at that point. Now they're the Guardians. At that point, it netted a Michael Brantley, who's a player to be named later. The rest of those cats never even panned out.
Well, we have a track record on most of the pitchers that the Brewers would have to give up.
Yes.
Like we've seen them in the big leagues. Those
Ashby,
guys were
Hall.
not as highly touted.
Okay, but listen,
You
Ashby.
think the Diamondbacks are going to take Hall and Ashby?
I'm telling
That's the
you.
other thing about Wisconsin is like people sit here and they say, "Let's get rid of Jake Bauers for Juan Soto." Who says no?
Wags,
Come
listen,
on.
they're going to want a major league starting pitcher to put in that rotation. They're going to lose like 2 or 3 of them at the deadline. They have no pitching going into next year either. So they're going to want 1 or 2 guys that can go into that rotation. So I'm telling you, of what they're going to deal, Ashby, Hall, Tobias Myers, Henderson, Patrick, Rodriguez, those guys are all available, and it may be a combination of 3 of those guys. You say no?
Yeah, I say no.
I don't.
I also am not convinced that the Diamondbacks are going to get rid of Suarez.
Well, maybe not. And if they don't, then this is not worth arguing over if they don't get rid of him. If they hold on to him, then it is what it is. Nobody gets him and nobody's mad. The question we had earlier was, is it more important for the Brewers to get Suarez or that the Cubs don't get him?
I mean, that's 50-50. Like, well, what so you should bankrupt the farm system to go get a guy so your rival doesn't get him.
No, I'm going to get a guy to help me out. But I'm just saying, if the Yankees get Suarez, whatever, right? If somebody else in the AL gets Suarez, whatever. I don't want the Dodgers or the Cubs to have him. Outside of that, I think I can live with the rest.
Well, I don't think the Dodgers are going to get into it. I don't see the Diamondbacks and Dodgers trading within the division. I just don't see that happening. You never see that happen. We don't see those kind of big deals happen within the division. I think
Fair.
if Suarez gets traded, he goes to the American League.
I hope so. I just don't want to see him in a Cubs uniform with the trader, because then I will be really mad at the end of the day. Mr. Wagner, do they win tonight?
Everything says they should, but baseball logic tends to say, no, when you should win, that's when you don't. So I'm going to go ahead and say no, and maybe I'm the reverse jinx.
No, you're not. I think they're underdogs tonight against Logan Gilbert and in Seattle. I think they're actual underdogs going into tonight's game. So I think you're more on the side of the rest of the country than you are of the locals here. But we'll see. Mizorowski, if Mizorowski goes out there tonight and throws out some crazy game again against Seattle and they win 12, goodness gracious.
I'll be the first one in line at George Webb.
You're not beating me.
Y'all gonna have a
Dude,
race.
I kept a burger from '87 in my freezer for 30
You
years.
are
That's
not
insane.
one of those people. Oh my goodness, you got to be kidding
I was
me.
10 years old
What?
at the time. I shoved it in the freezer, forgot about it until I was cleaning up the house after my great grandma died.
Did you
What
try
did it look like?
It was surprisingly decent.
How did it taste?
I didn't eat it.
No,
boo.
I don't believe you. I think you
not
microwaved
even
that
try
bad
it.
boy up and went at
It
it.
was ultimately discarded and not by me.
So
There's
you
a
weren't
reason I
going to
no
eat
longer
it.
speak to my family. There's a reason I no longer
See?
speak to my family, and that's part of it.
So somebody stepped in the way and didn't let you eat it. Wow.
I wasn't going to eat it. I just thought it was. I was a kid. I stuck it in the freezer, and I forgot about it.
Yeah, no, you don't have sod from like Lambo or something, do you?
If I did, I would use it just for my dog to pee on. I hate that place. I hate that team. I hate that city.
Now, that's not going to help you get any girls in this area. So just don't keep that to yourself when you're out there looking. Mr. Wagner, thank
I
you
will
so
never
much.
hide from that. See you soon.
Yeah, there he is. Oh, I love talking to him. Andrew Wagner, Florida Sports Brewers writer, presented by Focus Baseball. Check him out online, focusbaseball.com for your July trouts. That's one of the more heated ones we've had in a while, me and Wagner.
Yeah, you guys got into it there a little bit.
Can't you just hear the Brewers saying that, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do anything at the trade deadline, but we got Brandon Woodruff back, and that's just as good. Can't you hear him saying that?
Yeah.
I can absolutely hear them saying that.
But also, that's why Wagner is saying it, because everybody can understand that they would say that, and they have said that in the past.
It's not going to be acceptable to me. It's just not. Others that are listening will accept this and be fine with it. I will not be fine with it or accept it. Charlie Sounds of the Day coming up next. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Oh, by the way, sorry. Andrew Wagner, join us. Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the 1250 AM, 1057 FM, The Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. See Sparky Fifer with you. Charlie using other side of the glass. How you doing here on a, what is it, Tuesday? Yeah,
It is
Tuesday.
I have it right on the sheet today.
Right on the sheet. You do it Tuesday, July 22nd. Playing a little Ozzy Osbourne as Ozzy Osbourne passes away earlier today at 76 years old. Thoughts and prayers to his family. So you'll hear this going throughout the remainder of the show. Potawatomi Sportsbook, that's where you want to be to watch Brewers, Dodgers, let's say tonight, late night, right? First pitch just after 8:30, 7:30, leadoff show with Tommy Wirtz, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook from 7:30 to 8:30. Get your starting lineups out of 3 times a show we do starting lineups on that show. Building a Winner, brought to you by the Iron Workers. We go through everybody in the minor leagues for the Brewers each and every night. We hear from Pat Murphy before the game. We get a rewind feature to go back and go over what happened the night before. All kinds of great news and notes and stats info from around the Brewers and whatever has been going on with them every night, 1 hour before the game. Tommy Wirtz tonight, 7:30 with the leadoff show. But the Sportsbook is a perfect place to go. You go over there, you hang out, you watch the game, couple shekels here, couple shekels there, 48 beers on tap, dozen different specialty cocktails, all kinds of great food, all day brunch, burgers, salads, wraps, wings, 7 different types of wing sauces, homemade desserts and pastries every day at the Potawatomi Hotel Casino as well. It's 2 levels. At second level, you can use for private parties, business functions, luncheons, right? If you run a business, you're like, I want to do something different. Go down there, man. Second level, have some day baseball on, right? Maybe the Brewers are playing a day game and treat everybody down there to have lunch on the second level. Watch the Brewers game while you're having your lunch meeting or whatever. Man, people would love you. And it's a private elevator, so not anybody can get up there. So take advantage of that. That first floor, reserve your seats ahead of time. You don't have to. You can go take a chance and, hopefully you have an open seat. I've learned over the course of time that's not going to happen very likely at night. So totally up to you. I would recommend reserving ahead of time. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. Nominal fee, but it goes towards your food and beverage. Totally worth it. Reserve your seat today.
1, 2, 3. What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on The Fan.
All right, let's get to it. Charlie Sounds of the Day, top 3 sound clips. What say you, Charlie Usen?
All right, so first up, we're going to take a detour over to college football, and then for the second 2, I'm going to come back to some Brewers love.
Fine.
But first, we're going to hear from Indiana head coach Kirk Cignetti at Big Ten Media Days right now for the football teams, and he was discussing in his press conference how Indiana has changed their schedule to start off the season this year, and it's something that a lot of people in college football are talking about right now.
Here's the bottom line, okay? We picked up an extra home game, and we play 9 conference games. The 2 best conferences in college football, any football guy that's objective will tell you, is the Big Ten and the SEC, all right? 12 of the 16 SEC teams play 3 G5 or an FCS game. 12 of those teams play 36 games, 29 G5 games, and 7 FCS games, and 1 less conference game. All right? So we figured we'd just adopt SEC scheduling philosophy. Some people don't like it. I'm more focused in on those 9 conference games. Not only do we want to play 9 conference games, okay, and have the 4-4 championship, the playoff format, okay, we want to have play-in games to decide who plays in those playoffs. Championship weekend, let's play 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5. You want to decide that on the field and make sure everybody's strength of schedule is what it needs to be? Let's make everybody play 9 conference games, and on championship weekend, 3 will play 6, 4 will play 5. And there's still room for another at-large in that format. And why shouldn't the Big Ten have 4 AQs? Because Ohio State actually finished 4th in the conference at the end of the season. Indiana and Penn State were tied for 2nd. They won the tiebreaker. Ohio State won the national championship. okay? Put the best teams in the playoff, give the best leagues the AQs, but make them earn it with play-in games. And we wouldn't be opposed to Big Ten SEC regular season games every year. We need to standardize the schedule across the board if we want to have objective criteria for who should be in the playoffs and who shouldn't, and we need to take the decision-making off the committee to some degree.
So, first off, let's just have him resign as Indiana football coach, just make him the damn commissioner of college football,
right?
And let's just move on. Like, why are we screwing around for? Odds are you're not going to win as much as you did last year ever again at Indiana. So why don't you just step aside, let some other guy go down there and figure out if he can coach or not. You are older, so you can come be the commissioner of football and let's roll. I have no issue with what he said outside of the whole playing an FCS thing. Or group of 5 game, as he called it, a G5 game. So it's one thing if you want to play an FCS or group of 5 game there, right? You want to go there and play, okay, that's fine. I got no problem with it. And I'll tell you right now, they would be ecstatic because that does not happen. Big Ten SEC schools rolling into an FCS school or a group of 5 school just because? No way. It's not happening. There's no chance. What I don't like is you wasting a home game on one of those 2 schools. That's what bothers me, Charlie.
Well, and I can understand how that bothers you because you're not really selling tickets at home when you have those games. Nobody wants to go watch Alabama take on Bowling Green. I'm sorry. That's just not something that people are going to be paying money to go see.
Appalachian State. Now, I know they beat Michigan, whatever. But that
people
just
didn't know that was going to happen?
No, absolutely not. That just does not happen enough. And in order to, again, sell tickets and all this other stuff, man, just play one of these other schools. This is... Going back to what he said, SEC Big Ten, the agreement should be no more FCS group of 5 schools for both conferences, and that game that you normally would have will be a rivalry game instead with the SEC. And it should be the 2 teams that finished opposite each other the previous year play each other the next year. So the 2 second-place schools from last year in the Big Ten or SEC play each other this year. And then third versus third, fourth versus fourth, last versus last, all the way down the line. And that way, every year, you're guaranteed, hopefully, the 2 best teams in the Big Ten and the SEC playing each other in the non-conference. And I bet you money they will never agree to that.
And what's weird that they wouldn't agree to that is the fact that that system already exists in the NCAA. D3 at Elmhurst University, we did that. The CCIW faced off against the WEAC and had a contract with the WEAC that the number 1 team would play the number 1 team for 2 straight years. You'd go home, go away. The bottom 2 teams would play the bottom 2 teams. The only thing is that Elmhurst, where I was at, stayed at the bottom. The team we were matched up against was River Falls, who was at the bottom and then got really good really fast. So then they ended up beating the crap out of us 2 straight years because they would just ended up being so much better and weren't evenly ranked. So they didn't reset the rankings and who you were matched up with. But it still exists. That format, that system still exists to be refined. It would be so easy just to take that and move it to D1 and make a lot more money off of that.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal. Now, I understand the argument about trying to get in the playoffs and so forth. So I want the cupcake win or whatever the case may be, the additional preseason game or however you want to view this. I get that. I love the idea of 3-6-4-5 game at the end. So Big Ten championship weekend, you also have 3-6-4-5. And SEC could do the same thing and give those schools a chance to have one more impact win to clarify who should be in and who shouldn't be in at the end of the day. That from Signetti, I thought was really good. And, as you know, I hate committees deciding crap. I'd rather have it be decided by a computer and a formula than some human beings trying to decide this stuff for the NCAA tournament or for this playoff. So anything that takes something off of their plate of having to decide and makes it black and white, I'm all for that as well. So, most part, I agree with Signetti. All right, what do you got?
All right, next up, we're going to hear from AJ Pierzynski of Foul Territory,
like AJ.
Friend of the show.
Yes.
He was discussing the Brewers' rotation and why it can make them the most dangerous team in baseball.
Just mentioned I was in the Cubs game the other day, and I think Ken, it was either Ken or Adam, one of them asked about the Brewers. And Council's like, their pitching is just so good. It just keeps getting better. Freddie Peralta's having an unbelievable year. McGill's having a great year in the back end. They just keep finding guys, and you bring back Woodruff and Mizorowski as he keeps going, this is a daunting task. Now, if they hit a little bit, they've gotten some of their guys going. You mentioned Ortiz has started to swing the bat. Yelly's been doing good. Contreras has kind of turned it around a little bit. So, I mean, this team looks good right now. And, I mean, they're not going to keep winning every single game. They're going to lose eventually. But here's my thing about the Milwaukee Brewers. Nobody saw them here. Nobody saw them here last year, except for maybe Kratzy. But the rest of the league better watch out, because if you go into a series and you get Freddie P., Mizorowski, Woodruff with their bullpen in a short series especially, they're going to be tough to deal with.
That's it. They just got to keep these three frontline guys healthy. They keep the front three starters healthy with Mizorowski and not waste his innings so he can't pitch in the playoffs. If they can keep those three dudes healthy, they can match up against any front three in baseball. I promise you they can match up, and they will be more than good enough to hold their own. But then it's going to be, can you score 4 runs if they score 3? Can you score 5 if they score 4? Because odds are they're not scoring 10 or 12 off of any of our 3 starting pitchers. But you're still going to have to score runs. And I go back to that's where Suarez comes into play here as far as being that additional pop in that lineup to help you score those runs. And as we've learned, if you follow history of baseball, power wins in playoffs. It always has. Pitching and power, those two things, right? If you have great pitching and great power, it's going to be tough to knock you out of the playoffs. And the Brewers, back when they had great power, didn't have great pitching. Now they have great pitching and they don't have great power. That, again, is why I say push in and go get Suarez. But nicely said there by A.J. Przinsky, and I agree with him that it is going to be tough to deal with. And as we mentioned earlier from the trader down there, he needs starting pitching and he needs relief pitching. He's got a bunch of holes to fill outside of Suarez at third. So, again, when you hear reports from John Heyman talking about the Cubs are one of the teams involved, okay, fine. But does that mean you're going to only get Suarez and just, we're fine on pitching, we'll be good enough? Or are they going to unload their farm system and try to get a couple relief pitchers, a starter, and Suarez? I pretty sure I know the Ricketts family pretty good, and odds are that's not going to happen. But we'll see. Because, again, Jed Hoyer's contract is going to be coming up here. So if this flops and this backfires, he's going to be out of a job. Like, that's how this is going to play. And then Counsell will then be on the hot seat with the next guy coming in, because they're not going to fire him at $8 million a year. They're not paying him guaranteed money for the next, 3 years or whatever it is, at $8 million a year a pop. He'll get a chance to go with the next GM, whoever that is. But that's going to be the end of Hoyer as president of baseball operations if this thing falls apart on him.
Well, and the Cubs, their big issue is that their farm system is not nearly as deep as the Brewers. It's not even really as deep as the Yankees.
Correct.
A lot of their top prospects are already up at the major league level. It's really Moises Ballesteros, and he's had a little time at the major league level and is probably pretty close to being a major league catcher for them, too. So it's him, Matt Shaw, Cade Horton. Outside of that, you don't really have too much.
Who's that other guy, that Cali guy or whatever his name is? What is that dude's name, man? He's been on fire in the Cubs organization.
But those guys that have been at the top of the organization, he's been on the rise. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember his name right now.
I'll get it.
Yep. But he's been on the rise. The guys that have been at the top.
Owen Casey, that's his name.
Those guys that are going to be available, he's a guy that they'd probably want to hold on to, so he's probably not going to be as available. The guys that are going to be as available aren't as enticing as the guys that the Brewers are going to have available, that the Yankees are going to have available.
Yes, correct. The Brewers can outbid everybody involved if they want this dude. That's my point. They can outbid everybody. If they really want Suarez, they can get Suarez. The only person stopping them from getting Suarez is themselves at this point. All right, next one.
And last up here, we're going to head over to an intentional talk on MLB Network where former Cubs pitcher Ryan Dempster was discussing the Milwaukee Brewers and their ceiling.
The Brewers' ceiling is going to the World Series. I know we sit here and we wonder, but good Lord, man, when you look at this team and you look at their pitching staff, you know how much I love a good pitching staff, Kev's here. It's so vital. I feel like it's so underrated sometimes. We focus so much on offense, but yet everybody wants starting pitching. Look at this. Freddie Peralta, Jacob Mizorowski, Quinn Priester, and now Brandon Woodruff is back and healthy. These dudes are all nasty. They punch tickets, they throw strikes, their bullpen sneaky good, and then offensively, they just grind you, man. They come after it, no matter who it is. Isaac Collins had himself a big weekend in L.A. You go Sal Frelick, you go Christian Yelich, you go all these guys. How about Andrew Vaughn? We talked about it. Kev, remember we said a change of scenery, former number 3 or 2 overall pick out of Cal, and this dude has been raking .391 at his time so far in Milwaukee. So I think their ceiling is whatever they want it to be. They're as good as anybody in the game right now.
That's a former Cub saying that. God, it felt good to listen to. Really felt good to listen to. Isaac Allen's been doing it for more than a weekend. That dude's been doing it for over a month right now and playing really, really good at this point. And now you're doing it without Frelick, and you're still putting together a performance here where you score a bunch of runs last night. Kirby's got a no-no going, and you blow up for 4 on him and ruin that and win the baseball game at the same point. Now tonight, Logan Gilbert, another really good pitcher for the Mariners against Mizorowski. Be another good pitching matchup. Could be another really low-scoring game. And we'll see how the Miz pitches tonight in Seattle for that one. That's all 3, correct?
That is all 3.
That is all 3. Hey, all you have to do in order to listen to the show, stream us on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Watch us on YouTube. That's right. We are there, baby, at the Fan Milwaukee. Use that @ symbol, at the Fan Milwaukee. We are live streaming. We've got shorts. We got videos of our interviews and funny segments. All of that up right now on YouTube at the Fan Milwaukee. Use the @ symbol, at the Fan Milwaukee. Coming up next, Green and Gold Update, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.